Hello, my name is Larry Dobrow. I am the editor-in-chief of MM+M, and I'm thrilled for you to join us today for this episode of MM+M TV. This is our new video series in which we talk with some of the honorees of the Agency 100 about what makes them tick and why they're doing as well as they are. And I drew the long straw today for a change. I get to do ConcentricLife with two people that I like personally, admire professionally, Ken Bagassi, Jennifer Brecky. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. Thank you.
Right. So let's go back to I don't want to say the beginning because the beginning goes way back, but the unification of Scout Health and Concentric Health Experience and how it's come together. I believe it was March when we made it official, right?
Yeah, I think we tied a knot on it in March.
Yeah.
But,
but obviously it led up to that. So
Yeah.
but I've been wanting to work with Jennifer for a number of years. I've always been a big fan of Scout, what they're doing, their expertise in rare. And it really happened organically. I think that, and I think the best partnerships, come together organically where we see the world in a similar way. And we see the opportunity that exists within our current clients and also clients we aspire to be partners with. And we recognize that really combining the power of Concentric and Scout, and really building a new company that is really a healthcare platform that can address everything from rare to wellness, and the modern capability set needed for today's marketers was just too good for us to continue to do alone, and we needed to come together and make it happen.
Well, and aside from just putting two companies that we're both very proud of that have been in business for 2 decades together, we really shared this vision. Like, let's do something different. Let's look at the marketplace today and respond to what the marketplace needs by building something together that can really be the modern version of that answer to the marketplace. And so that's what makes it exciting to work together in that shared vision.
And I think we're, that excitement is really, I think, magnified by the excitement we have about working in this particular space. I think there's really nothing more exciting than working in health and wellness right now.
it's where the action is.
It's where the action is. It's where the opportunity to innovate and invent new experiences for customers. That really transcend what they have learned healthcare has been in the past. I think that's a really big opportunity for us. When we look into the marketplace, there's certainly we call it the swell, the ground swell, is the consumerism of health and wellness. But there's exciting new partners and, new contributors to health, springing up across the entire spectrum, from everything from, really addressing the needs in the rare space to, new consumer players entering the health market in significant ways and really kind of changing the way people are addressing and valuing their health. The great aspect, I think, of ConcentricLife is we're able to bring, that deep expertise needed in those areas, but also share from that kind of holistic point of view of, transforming health experiences from, everything from rare through wellness.
That's one of the things when we had our first conversation about ConcentricLife a couple of months ago. What jumped out at me was that this was something that fit. It wasn't kind of taking a couple things and kind of jamming them together in a way that wasn't natural. Right. The perspective and the philosophical similarities between the two organizations, as this has been brought into the market and more conversations have come with the company together versus, when it was still kind of in the, the engaged state is probably the way to put it.
Sure.
Tell me how the tenor of those conversations have changed. What have you heard from the marketplace that has maybe made you adjust them a little bit?
Do you want to take a shot?
So I think if you back up and think in the past decade, if somebody says in their life, what has been one of the biggest shifts that's happened, obviously the pandemic and health and that focus on individuals' health. So I think we knew that, we saw that coming up post-pandemic, a lot of the data saying people are still highly engaged in their health. So I think when we put it together and theoretically and our vision of how this was going to work to address that, it, like you said, it fit. Now the receptivity to that answer of we're not just talking about disease management with our customer, we're talking about their holistic view of their health and wellness. That conversation is resonating really deeply, and so I think it's proved out that vision is really resonating in the marketplace.
I would say, I kind of look at these things and I say, so how are we addressing the needs of our customers? If we're doing that well, then the model itself will prove its value, yes. Right? And when I look at the early indicators, like you said, it's been about 6 months.
Yeah.
We've been operating this way. Our organic growth is off the charts.
Which, of course, is a sign that you're doing something right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So for me, that means the things that we elevated, by bringing both organizations together, creating deep expertise in social, medcoms, commercial strategy, experience design, omni-channel planning, those capability sets, those offerings that we've elevated in our model are driving organic growth within our current client roster. And sure, the ultimate vision is to help our clients build really favorable health and wellness experiences. And I look at Wegovy, which obviously, some people, like my old Viagra days, that thing sells itself, right? But the reality that when you have a drug that's so transformative and is so disruptive to a marketplace, you have to feed that brand. And that brand, more than ever, needs to kind of reimagine where it sits in the world. And right now, it sits beyond obesity. It is a
it's in the
wellness
cultural mainstream.
It's a cultural mainstream, and it is a foundational wellness therapy that for years we'll be learning through science how it supports overall wellness. And so we have to help marketers who like our Novo Nordisk partners, through our offering, understand that experience is the way in. When you build that experience, that customer experience, that favorable experience, you're continuing innovating to kind of solve the customer's problems, needs. Your brand can have a significant cultural and commercial impact. Just got back from the Sanofi and Prevention Bio launch of Tzield.
Another one that's going that direction, right?
I mean, it's to be able to have on different spectrums, right, ends of the spectrums, but to have both these brands, that are market-defining brands. That there is no playbook for these brands that existed. We are creating that, and we're creating that through experience. And so, I think early indicators are. What we did fits, and it fits with our clients' needs.
Mm-hmm. Writing that playbook. One of the things which I found fascinating about some of our earlier conversations was how the cultural piece, it usually comes after the fact. Scout and Concentric did the exact opposite. I believe that Jen, you had told us that a sister Stagwell company helped on the cultural piece.
Right.
I think that is something which any agency that's doing something even remotely similar, if they're buying somebody, if they're merging with somebody, they should be doing. Tell us how that came to be and what you learned from it.
Yeah, I think it was a really good first step. Like you said, a lot of times it becomes a last step, unfortunately, but it was one of our very first steps, is to make sure we can be culturally aligned and really have an environment where our people can thrive and really do their best work, which obviously translates to incredible client work. And so we met a consultant through our parent company and had the opportunity to really work closely with her in evaluating how to bring us together culturally. So we did a lot of the homework up front, involved our staff in that. I think that was very successful. And then I don't remember exact timing of when we talked, but I don't think we had been to Florida yet. So then we brought our entire...
I think it was like 2 weeks before, and you were like,
amazing.
oh, we're all going on vacation.
Right, so we brought
vacation.
It was work and play. So we brought our entire organization down to Fort Lauderdale and really spent time on culture and really spent time in talking about what that means and connection and all of that. So I think we felt like we were able to leapfrog connection so much better by physically being together and spending time and not talking about a ton of of other things that we could have, but really focusing in on the culture. So I think that's been a really valuable thing for us to do and to keep doing.
Absolutely. Going back to the client piece of it, both of you in your answers have referenced the pandemic and how we're in a very different place for obvious reasons than we were a couple of years ago. How have the tenor of the conversations that you have with clients, how have they changed, not just in that post-pandemic context, but also in the context of the two agencies coming together and being able to create this greater, broader offering than what they had previously enjoyed from?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're opportunistic, so we're always seeking the opportunity when there's a challenge that exists within any client at ConcentricLife for us to kind of wrap ourselves around that challenge. So one of the key aspects of this new model is, again, all these different capabilities and expertise wrapping around the business challenge of our clients. So what's been really, I think, eye-opening for some of our clients who have been working with us for a long time, whether it was a Scout client or a Concentric client, wow, there's a collection of really brilliant new blood, great minds they're being introduced to, that are expanding even our clients' visions and ambitions for how they can address that business challenge. So we're not walking in doing capability presentations per se. We're walking in there and demonstrating the new capabilities that exist within the organization, and that has come has really created a lot of new opportunities. Right now we're smack in the middle of a number. I mean, reason why Mike's not here today is because he's doing that with our client up in Takeda. So, we have 15 people up there, again, building an ambitious vision for a really great product out of Takeda in the rare space. So, that organic approach, but focusing again on the business challenge and showing them the new capabilities, that's really kind of been the secret sauce.
And I think at the end of the day, post-pandemic and everybody being dispersed in different places and learning how to work collectively as a team all over, I think one of the very unique things about ConcentricLife is that our bespoke teams that we build are still all part of ConcentricLife. They're not bolt-on, really
We're
separate
not just going to
agencies.
take somebody from here.
Mm-hmm. That really is difficult from a collaboration, efficiency, pulling the team together. So I think our clients are really responding to that, saying, oh, I can pull that in with my existing team, augment that, bring that talent in for what I need, and then not necessarily use them for things that I don't need. And I think that flexibility, but knowing it's all housed under one roof, that piece of collaboration has become extremely valuable to our clients.
But it started with culture.
Yeah.
Like, that wouldn't have existed as... Right. It wouldn't have been as
effective,
and effective if we didn't focus on the culture first, and then I think really importantly get everyone together to also cultivate that culture in Florida, and really kind of shape it. And now people don't think of themselves as what they were before. They think of themselves as ConcentricLife.
Well, who is the right person for ConcentricLife? What are some of the traits that you look for?
Our values would speak to that.
Well, yes, clearly, but when you think about some of the agency's best performers, some of the most trusted people that you work with, what do they have in common? What kind of fuels them?
I would say, first of all, I think we are fortunate. I mean, we have 3 of our managing directors who started off as interns at Concentric. So they have been with us for a number of years, and some of them have left and come back. We always love the boomerangs. They leave and come back. But why they are successful at ConcentricLife and why they are drivers of our business is really that kind of internal fire of that entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, they really like to be part of something where they can shape and have impact on the client's business, on individuals, and on the agency. And I think that is one of the, that's one of the things, in our 10, rules of greatness. When we look at that, those behaviors are the behaviors that I think separate, those entrepreneurial behaviors are really the behaviors that really separate us. That and the fact that we do have people who are, and I sincerely say this, kind and generous and, good people.
Yeah.
You could be in a situation where you have really great talent, but not really great interpersonal skills and empathy. And I think, our group is very well-rounded in that regard.
And I think, there are a lot of people that work in the health space that they may like the industry, but it's a job. I feel like there's just a pervasive passion about this category at our agency that fuels a lot of excitement about being there because we do range all the way from rare through health through wellness. There's a lot of different types of health that is talked about, worked on, and inspiring. And so I think there's this, you add this entrepreneurial spirit and this passion for the health and wellness space. And I think it's somebody who thrives in that environment.
And we talk about like matching our talent to the talent of our clients. Like, what's the best client for us? And we talked about that, even today.
Yep.
We were just talking about that. And we've done this a series of times. We look like where are we most successful when we build those relationships that are growing relationships over years. They have there's a juicy challenge that's there, but there's also it builds a real team aspect to it, camaraderie, and that to me is, trailblazing clients, clients that have something new and different. I think, we look back at what, some of our biggest successes, they're market defining brands.
Yes.
They're not just roll out the same playbook over and over again and introduce a new product to the marketplace. They are brands that require us to go and define their value, help move a marketplace's perspective of what that value can provide, and really kind of introduce new modalities, new products into, new solutions into marketplaces. When you're doing that, I think there's an immediate alignment with your client. Like, this is a big deal.
Right.
This is not to be taken lightly. This is not just, hey, let's, put some hands in the reps' hands or blow some DTC out. These are carefully crafted experiences and brands, and there's a real purpose behind them, and I think that's what we look for like the best clients for Concentric moving forward. It doesn't matter, again, it could be rare, it could be in the wellness space, it could be health in the middle. But are they trailblazing? Do they have a product, and do they have a mindset that they're going to be, blazing a new trail in the marketplace?
Mindset is key too, because you could have the product and not have the mindset, and sometimes have the mindset and not the product. But usually, I think we find it's more of the partnership aspect. And I think some agencies really do marketing for a product, versus we're really a commercialization partner. Like, we're in there really strategizing on all the things that Ken just mentioned, those sort of market defining steps that need to be taken, those critical strategies that need to be fleshed out and brought to market. So that's the exciting part when you find partnerships like that.
And I have to think, having those all-encompassing assignments, they got to be a lot of fun, right?
Yes.
You're not just going in and saying,
That's
like,
right.
all right, we're going to do a little here, a little there. You go in, you get your hands dirty, and you build. Those types of integrated assignments, I assume those are the things that, make you excited to get up in the morning to start working.
Yeah, I think that's where we do our best work. And when we were looking at the formation of ConcentricLife, we had that in mind, right? We had the client that we certainly, would love to continue to partner with, that we would add to a family of amazing clients. And we had the people, that we knew, and the type of people that we knew needed to be the drivers of the platform. But ultimately, it was about going in and helping clients create this integrated experience, right? This holistic health experience, and really help them break down some of the silos that exist in their own organizations through strategic leadership. And so our ability to work with, early commercial products with our commercialization strategy team, and then bring that and bridge that to medcoms, and then bridge that to traditional brand development and then ultimately into creating a holistic experience that's engaging customers and moving their behaviors through their journey. That's kind of the whole reason why we did what we did. It's the most rewarding. Sometimes when you're only playing a piece of it, you could see the gaps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the gaps in the customer experience, and
it must be frustrating because you can't do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's often frustrating for the client if the client is siloed like that too in their own organization. So trying to help bridge that across is a really important role we play. And being the commercialization partner for many clients over the years and now collectively together, I mean, I think our average tenure of our clients is like 5-7 years. I mean, we stick with them a long time through this commercialization process. As Ken said, a lot of them really early on that early commercialization strategy piece all the way through to the brand development.
Yeah, and I think, again, when you go back to the model's built to be able to move with a client through that process, right? Recognize that there's going to be heavier emphasis in certain areas, but when we can move, with agility with them, as they continue to kind of evolve and their needs evolve. But what's maintained is the strategic foundation, and obviously the relationships.
You're building.
Yeah.
All right. That actually leads in nicely to my last question. It's the crystal ball question. We're having this conversation again for the 2024 Agency 100. What do you hope to be telling me? What do you expect to be telling me?
Well, I'm like I said, I've never been more excited to be sitting in this seat, to be provided with the opportunity with some amazing breakthrough brands and some amazing clients to help us, build rewarding experience for their customers. I think you're going to see Concentric in 2024 have a very successful 23, which we're well on our way. I think you'll see continued expansion of those kind of deep, modern expertise, and a deepening of those modern expertise. I think you'll see continued growth in the data and analytics capability at ConcentricLife, which will fuel, again, our ability to create these seamless learning experiences for our clients' brands.
How about from where you're sitting, Jen?
Yeah, I think agreed with everything Ken said. We're set up for a great 2023 and well on our way in that. And I think by next year, you'll start to hear our clients saying, wow, I really see how this model brought things that I didn't even necessarily think I was missing. For instance, I'm a rare disease client and I was very focused on the disease management, but now I'm looking holistically at that patient and everything it needs from a health and wellness perspective. And they brought that to me and I didn't necessarily even see that gap, but now I see how it's all tying together. And then across, health and wellness, the filling in all of the things that our model is able to help them do. I think we'll solve problems that sometimes the clients may not even realize there were gaps there, and they will be very pleased at how that's all come together in a really collaborative environment that is hard to find.
And that's the way you're building these long-lasting relationships, by solving problems before they manifest themselves.
Yes.
All right. We have one bonus question here because this is MM+M TV.
Yes.
For both of you, and I think the answers have been largely informed by children who take over the car radio. What was the last? What was the last song that both of you heard?
Oh, Cruel Summer, Taylor Swift.
I
have a 12-year-old, 14-year-old girls. That is my entire world right now.
Wow, that's a great question. Man, I don't know if it's an actual song, but I'll tell you the station. I'm addicted to the Doobie Brothers radio.
You know what's great? You get the best of yacht rock, but you also get that kind of 70s.
Just have it on record. I picked Taylor Swift and he picked Doobie Brothers. Just for the record.
The camera documents everything here.
I like music that always brings me back to a time and a place. And there's a lot of good memories in the 70s and 80s.
Hey, Michael McDonald's still out there on the road singing those songs.
I mean, he's got a voice of an angel, so he's just amazing.
Are we really comparing him to Taylor Swift?
Different generations. Jennifer, Ken, this was an absolute delight.
Let's do it again next year. Can we get you next year?
Can
Done.
We plan on it?
All right, excellent.
All right. For MM+M TV, I'm Larry Dobrow. Many thanks and be well.